Okay, so I've made my first mistake. I mentioned brunoise of carrot. That should have gone into the stuffing that goes inside the lamb. Okay, so make sure that brunoise of carrot's mixed in with everything as well. In the pan here, I've started to heat up a frying pan, non-stick, and in there I'm going to put a decent amount of oil. And all I'm going to do is make sure the oil's really hot, and then I'm going to seal off the lamb so that I get some really nice colour all over it. So I'm going to seal it on one side, turn it over, seal it on the other, make sure the whole thing's nice and golden brown. So once you've got really good colour on all sides of the lamb, we're just going to move it over to our pot roasting tray. And as you can see, I've saved the bones from the meat. So that's going to just hold the meat off the base of the roasting tray. So lamb goes into the roasting tray with the bones, and then in there as well we're going to put some herbs, nice bit of flavour. There's some thyme, there's some rosemary, and then we've got our mirepoix of vegetables as well. It's all going to bring a really nice flavour to our finished product. So sprinkle the mirepoix all over. Looks like a lovely garden. Bay leaves, whole lot. And then in there, as I said, we're going to put some stock. We need to make sure there's enough there to cover the base of the roasting tray, and also so that it won't go dry when it's in the oven. Then on top we're going to put some tin foil. It needs to be covered tightly with tin foil, and that's going to go into an oven about 160 degrees for about an hour and a half to cook. So the next stage is to make the Dauphinoise potatoes. The first step of that is to make the cream that goes in it, and I talked through all the mise en place before, and it involves rosemary and garlic. Well, I've chopped the rosemary up finely and I've crushed the garlic. It also involves cream, so the cream goes into the pan, and I want it to come to the boil and start to reduce. Now there's far too much cream for the amount of Dauphinoise that I'm going to make, but I also don't want it to become dry. Okay, so in there as well goes the rosemary and the garlic, and I'm just going to whisk that together and let it come to the boil. So the cream, after not very long at all, will come to the boil. So keep on whisking it. Make sure it doesn't boil over though, because as you know, cream boils really quickly, and once it does, it makes a real mess of the stove top. So we just want it to just then simmer, probably for about 3 to 4 minutes, just until it thickens and until we get a really good flavour in there. So the next part is trimming and slicing the potato, and just for safety as much as anything, and a little bit to do with shape, I'm just going to trim off those two edges, just so that the potato sits nice and safely on the board. I'll just trim those two edges off as well, because I want it to be slightly squared off, but it doesn't need to be really neat. So now you might say to yourself, why is he using a knife to cut the potato? Well, it does specify in the spec that we're not allowed to use a mandolin. It wants to show your knife skills. So what I want to see from you is taking really thin slices off this potato. If it's too thick, the potato will take ages to cook, and it'll also be too chunky in the particular utensil that we're going to cook it in. So we're looking for really nice thin slices of potato, and as you can see, it takes a little bit of precision, and it takes a really sharp knife. So you need to make sure that your tools are as sharp as possible. I'm going to slice the whole potato because I think we'll need that for the dish. So we've got a tray to cook the Dauphinoise in. We've sliced it as thin as we possibly can. The next part is to arrange the Dauphinoise into our tray. Okay, so neatly as possible. One layer, and then some seasoning. Go easy on the salt because there's salt in the cream itself, and we don't want to over season. So in between each layer of potato, I'm just going to put a little bit of cream as well. After I've put the layer of cream in, then I'm going to put another layer of potato, and I'm going to keep on repeating that process until this tin is pretty much full, about 3/4 full, something like that. So the last layer of potato goes in, and then I just use enough cream just to cover over the potatoes. If I don't cover the potatoes completely, they'll become dry and too crispy. And this is going to go into the same oven as the lamb, probably for about 45 minutes, until I can pierce the potatoes quite easily with a sharp knife.